Even in Kenya, if the activists, busybody activists from Uganda or Tanzania, who want to bring chaos and trouble in Kenya, the Kenyan government must deal with them. Because you are not a Kenyan citizen. What business would you be discussing Uganda affairs and you are not a citizen of Uganda? You are not a citizen of Tanzania. Those are what we call bad manners. And those bad manners, I want to thank President Museveni for dealing with those bad manners.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, and thank you very much for your greatest support. Now, fellow Kenyans, I'm really failing to understand what's going on or what normally happens with our leaders, because the leaders that we have, they speak the way they want anyhowly, thinking that they own the country. Sorry, they think that they own the country. They think that everything that is happening, they have control over everything. Why am I saying this? I'm saying this because after listening to the Bale-headed Senator Cheregei, who was speaking after the activists some of them were killed. In fact, these people are citizens of the Republic of Kenya. Now, a Kenyan leader, a Kenyan senator for that matter, whose purpose or whose duty or whose work is supposed to oversee what is happening with citizens, is encouraging a foreign nation to deal with citizens of Kenya who have gone to those nations. Of course, we know very well that you want to make the president happy. You want the president to see that you are working. You want the president to feel, you want Kenyans to feel that indeed we have senators who sometimes they don't reason, but they are there. But going to an extent of telling Museveni and telling Mama Samia Suluhu Hassan to deal with the people who have gone to their countries, and then you are telling them wafinye kabisa alafu waregeshe muamalize. So in short, if these people goes to Tanzania or to Uganda and then they are killed, it means that Ugandan government or Tanzanian government will say that your leaders encouraged us to kill them. How are you going to defend this? Okay, Bob Njagi and Oyoi's friend had been detained in Uganda for almost 1 month. In fact, 1 month plus, 39 days, almost 40 days in Uganda. Nobody knew their whereabouts. Nobody knew what was happening until they came. I think it was last week. Yeah, they came out last week. Now, after coming back last week, and then on that Saturday and then Sunday, this man is saying, and in fact, he repeated it yesterday.
And as a leader in this country, I've observed this trend for quite some time. And even in Kenya, if the activists, busybody activists from Uganda or Tanzania, who want to bring chaos and trouble in Kenya, the Kenyan government must deal with them. Because you are not a Kenyan citizen. What business would you be discussing Uganda affairs and you are not a citizen of Uganda? You are not a citizen of Tanzania. Those are what we call bad manners. And those bad manners, I want to thank President Museveni for dealing with those bad manners and Samia Suluhu Hassan. And in fact, also to thank them for releasing those activists to their families, but also to thank them for disciplining. I think as a country we are failing discipline, so it is good that they did discipline them. I hope they will reform, re-engage. They have a right. This right of freedom of association, speech, is enjoined within the Kenyan borders. But when you move to other countries, those rights are no longer there. You became an alien. You became a foreign citizen. Just like the Ugandan activists or Tanzanian activists cannot come to Kenya and start demonstrating. And I think we thank President Museveni for listening to Kenyans and the Kenyan government to release those activists back to home. But we hope, even the other day, we had activists who were arrested and released from Tanzania. We hope these lessons they can learn. Let them ply their thread here in Kenya, because the freedom is too much. Let them do that.
You've heard him talking about the business. Like, what business do you have in a country that is not yours? I want to ask this question. When Kipchumba Murkomen went to Uganda just the other day to go and campaign for Museveni, is Kipchumba Murkomen a Ugandan? Okay, what business does Kipchumba Murkomen have with the government of Uganda that he can go to an extent of campaigning for Murkomen for Museveni in Uganda? What business does he have, or what business did, which business? Here you are telling us, trying to now threaten citizens that which business do you have for a country that is not yours? Yet you leaders, you go to other countries and start campaigning or start supporting those leaders in those countries that are not yours. These leaders really need to style up, because these things that they are doing is not right. You can't keep on belittling people. You can't keep on talking about things the way that you want simply because you are in power. You are in those offices because people elected you. You are not in those offices because you forced yourself to be there. So do what is necessary, do what is needed, do what is required in order to make sure that people get what they expected to get from you when they elected you. This issue ya kujionyesha kwamba mimi ndo najua kuzungumza, mara activists wakija Kenya tutadeal nao, mara sijui activists wa Kenya wakienda Uganda wanapaswa kudeal, Uganda wanapaswa kudeal nao, wakienda Tanzania wanapaswa kuuawa. Which business did Murkomen have with Uganda that he went to Uganda to campaign for Museveni? That is what we want to answer. Please, if you can answer us that, we'll be safe. We'll be okay. Tutakwambia kwamba okay, Cheregei, continue with what you are saying. If you can tell us the reasons why you sent Murkomen to go in Uganda, to campaign for Museveni, tutakuwa sawa. But if not, please keep off from saying all these things that you are saying. Just stop saying what you are saying. Stop this issue completely. Achana nayo na wachana nayo kabisa. Because what are these? What are these really? Please, what are these? Senator Eddie Oketch said something really trying to correct the statement of Cheregei. And I would like us to listen to Eddie talking about this, and then we continue the discussion. Listen to Eddie.
Mr. Speaker. And I remember, Mr. Speaker, last year, when the country was burning here, Mr. Speaker, we were called the name Jirani, and our children were bastardized and told to be having bad manners. And this discussion, Mr. Speaker, was nowhere other than the Parliament of Tanzania, Mr. Speaker. So was it okay that we were being discussed in terms of character, in terms of values, in a parliament discussion in Tanzania, and we cannot discuss the same problem that we have seen in those regions, Mr. Speaker, that affect us, when our own member in this house, Mr. Speaker, has come to laud them? Mr. Speaker, what the senator of Nandi said about what is happening in Uganda and the behavior of regime in Uganda and Tanzania is a shame and must be called as such, and as a house, we should not tolerate it, Mr. Speaker. And in the spirit of broad-based, Mr. Speaker, where one of the principles of Broadway, may his soul rest in peace, Honorable Raila Amolo Odinga, Mr. Speaker, fought for the freedoms that we are enjoying in this country. I doubt in Raila's heart that that freedom was limited to being freedom that can only be enjoyed within Kenya, Mr. Speaker. It is freedom for humanity that must be enjoyed within and without the borders of Kenya. For all human race, Mr. Speaker, for all humanity, Mr. Speaker, in the continent, we must start being one African people. That the pain that is in Mali, the pain that is in South Africa, the pain that is in Cote d'Ivoire must affect us as a people, Mr. Speaker, because we are one African people, we are one humanity, Mr. Speaker, and therefore I condemn what my brother Senator Cheregei did pronounce in the weekend about what's happening in Uganda, Mr. Speaker, and about our colleagues and our people and the city of this country who are detained in Uganda, Mr. Speaker. Detention is something that you will never want to see. And I like this bill, this motion, Mr. Speaker, because it is a one step forward to making sure that this kind of dubious things that happens behind bars when people are in custody, Mr. Speaker, don't ever happen, Mr. Speaker. The pain we felt as young people when Albert Ojwang died in a police cell, Mr. Speaker, is a pain that we never want to see any other young person face in this country, Mr. Speaker. Therefore, this is a very important motion, Mr. Speaker, and I hope that we can support it, and I hope that even our colleagues in the lower house, Mr. Speaker, will support this kind of motion to make sure that we can monitor, we can be able to see what is happening in real time, and even post an event in a police cell, Mr. Speaker, and protect the dignity of lives in our country. And therefore, I support, Mr. Speaker, and I hope that we as a House will pass this with the haste that it requires to make it a reality in our country. I thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Now, you can imagine that there is a senator sitting in the same parliament with Cheregei. So the reasoning is different, because one person is trying to say that you are trying to encourage these foreign countries. Okay, let's ask ourselves this question. How many people have died, or how many people have been killed in Uganda or in Tanzania, for that matter, in Tanzania? How many Kenyan citizens were killed in Tanzania? And when these people are speaking, or when these people are talking about these things, don't they understand, or don't they get it, that there are citizens of Kenya who are doing business in Tanzania? Because we have got Kenyan citizens who changed, who went to Tanzania, and right now they're living in Tanzania, they're doing businesses. So when now the Tanzanian government decide that now they're going to do the research, they're going to walk in each and every house to make sure that those who are in Tanzania are purely Tanzanians, and then these Kenyan citizens are found there. Remember, they have been doing businesses in Tanzania for a very long time. So now, after this statement of people like Cheregei, who are encouraging Tanzanians and the military and the government to keep on killing people, now when these people are found in those, or in that state, what would happen? Do you really think that they will be left to walk scot-free? They will be charged. In fact, you heard the military leader saying that they've done their statistics, their analysis, and they realized that the people who are doing demonstrations, majority of the demonstrators were not Tanzanians, were people from a foreign country. And of course, there is no foreign country that they can talk about apart from Kenya. Kenya is the only foreign country who is capable of going to other parts of the continent. You know, like we saw during the demonstration, some Kenyans went to Hispania. They wanted to get into Tanzania. We saw all these things happen. Now, there are some Kenyan lawyers, there are some lawyers who have been killed, and up to date, nobody knows where they are. Nobody knows where they are, killed in Tanzania during the demonstration, simply because they are not Tanzanians. So how will the families of the people, Kenyan citizens who have been killed or murdered in Tanzania, find their bodies? If our leader is saying that shoot, that deal with them, wafinye kabisa, umejua, and then you hear the president saying that, then why were you sending Kithure Kindiki to go and represent you? If according to you, you know very well that Suluhu Hassan did not win the votes in the right way. Why? Viongozi wetu saa zingine wanapaswa kujiuliza maswali mengi sana. They need to ask themselves these questions that okay, this is supposed to happen, this has happened, this one should happen. Then how can we help? Because they are saying that anybody will be found in Uganda or Tanzania. Not their brother will be found, not their sister will be found, not even their family, not nothing. Their uncle, their auntie, none of their family members will be found in Tanzania. So it means that they don't care about other families. They don't care about how other families would feel or will feel when such things happen to them. They don't care. They really don't care. That is why you hear them opening their mouth, yapping every now and then. Edwin Sifuna is also talking about the same thing. And I want us to listen to Edwin Sifuna speaking. Listen to Edwin.
Honorable Speaker, the things that are happening in our neighboring countries, they used to happen here. They used to happen here. You remember the fight we had about constitution or reconstitution of the IEBC. You hear the stories from our neighbors where they are still in the era where the president just determines who's running the election. You know, when we hear those things, Honorable Speaker, we are transported back to 1992, over 30 years ago. When you hear somebody say, you can arrest these people, and he uses words like Finya Wao, you sound like a Kanu youth winger from 1991. You're giving me nightmares, Honorable Speaker. I remember at the advent of multi-party, we were told, Honorable Speaker, if you flash the two-finger salute, they will cut one so that it remains the one that was representing Kanu. That is the same language we are hearing from people in this house, and they call themselves founder members of ODM. Shindwe kabisa. I thank you, Honorable Speaker.
So you see, we have leaders who reason like leaders, and we have leaders who don't reason like leaders. Those who don't reason like leaders are not worthy to be called leaders. Completely, they are completely not worthy to be called leaders. Why? Tell me, okay. I want us to understand this. Tell me why a leader will just stand and encourage the killings of innocent people. So what about those Tanzanians who are in Kenya? Because I know some few of them. I do talk to some of them. There are around 3, 4, 5 friends of mine who are not Kenyans. 2 ladies are from Tanzania, and then 3 guys are from, 2 ladies, 1 man from Tanzania, and then 2 guys from Uganda. They are very nice people. They are very good people. They are doing their businesses. They have no problem with anybody. So it means that majority of them are here. Most of them are here. Okay. We also know that look at the hawkers when you wanauza njugu, when you wanauza hizi crips, when you wanauza nini, the hawkers that normally walk around the streets, are they normally Kenyans? They are not Kenyans. So it means that if people like Cheregei are trying to tell foreign country leaders or the government of foreign countries like Uganda and Tanzania, Museveni and Samia, that they should deal with anybody. They should deal with anybody that they'll find in their country. So it means that the Kenyan government should also start dealing with those people who are not Kenyans but are doing businesses in the country. Because how many activists go to those countries? How many? Unaanza kutuambia kwamba wanafaa kufinyiliwa sana. So the way Cheregei is reasoning is the same way this member of parliament of Tanzania reasoned when people like Martha Karua went. Remember when she was saying that walipaswa kudeal nao vilivyo. So are you seeing? There is no big difference between these 2 people. Hakuna tofauti. No, hakuna tofauti kati ya hawa watu wawili. The way they reason, when you take these people and put them in the same room and then maybe you give them exams, utakuja napata kwamba watascore the same because they think the same. We should have, and you call yourself a lawyer, really? You say that you know law. Which law do you know? Which kind of law do you know? Which law allows you to encourage such kind of things to happen that are happening? Which law allows you as a lawyer? Which constitution allows you to encourage the killing? Everybody has got the right. There is right to live. Everybody has got their rights. And there is one of the major things that you can't take away from anybody: right to live. That is one thing I know 100% sure. I know that there is something known as the right to live. You can't take it away from people. You can't take it away from anybody. No matter who you are, no matter how you are, you can't take it away from anybody. That is a fact. So what we need to ask, or what we need to ask ourselves, is how are we going to solve these problems? And how are we going to tackle all these things that are happening? After all, guys, that is just my thought, and that is all I have for now. Let me also know what you think at the comment section, but don't forget to drop me your comment. Also subscribe, because by subscribing, that is the only way that you're going to get an opportunity or a privilege to get the notification of the videos that have been uploaded by Bonita Media any moment, any day, anytime they have been uploaded. Remember, in this channel we talk about politics, anything that is happening within the country and outside the country. For the knowledge, because not everybody watches the TVs and those things that cannot be disclosed by the mainstream medias. We talk about them here and we will bring them to you so that you can as well understand them. After all, guys, that is just my thought, and that is all I have for now. Until we meet again, I have been your host, Museveni. Please subscribe.